Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ball in the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. It's lost in that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to save. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in the few.
Welcome, Wine and Hip Hop, episode 4. I'm with my man James. He gonna leave me hanging.
I thought you were doing the.
Do you remember somebody left you hanging in the crowd at your show?
At my special.
He did that.
I thought you were doing the display like we have James Davis. Because I thought you would have came in like this or something. This is like, my bad.
No,
I got you, bro.
What's happening?
I would never leave you hanging.
This is Wine and Hip Hop, Los Angeles, episode 4. We're here today for one reason, and that's for Nipsey Hussle. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a little bit of this, and I'm gonna give it a little. We're not gonna splash the J's. We're just gonna give it a little for Nip, and we're also gonna pour up this champagne. I am here today with somebody very, very special. This is James Davis. For anybody that doesn't know James, I'm gonna give a quick little intro. You guys may know James from Live from the Town. He has a comedy special on Comedy Central right now. It's stupid funny. Go get the Comedy Central app. Go get your Amazon Fire TV. Go get all that. You gotta watch it. I just watched it again. The shit is so fucking funny. I'm not even joking. To call James a comedian is blasphemous. James is a actor. He's a writer. James has got hood adjacent, which is hilariously funny. What do you enjoy more, doing stand-up, or do you like hood adjacent? Like which one would you prefer if you had to pick one? Or is it all fun?
I'll be honest, hood adjacent was beautiful. It was a beautiful opportunity.
Right.
And I loved having my own TV show.
Right.
But it was super stressful to produce that particular situation. Stand-up is not as stressful as that.
Yeah.
However, I put a lot of stress on myself before the special because I shot it maybe a month and a half to 2 months after Dave Chappelle had released.
That's right.
2 specials on Netflix that were incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm competitive, and I wanted my debut special to be really, really funny, and in my opinion, I wanted it to be on par.
Yeah.
And so I put a lot of pressure on myself for that. So I don't know. They're both enjoyable, but both hard work.
Yeah, they were both funny as hell. Again, to call James a comedian or an actor or a writer is ridiculous. James also has a lot of content out there that you guys may have known. As of about 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, James is actually a rapper.
Technically, I have a successful project where I am rapping.
Yes.
I am rapping as President Barack Obama, Baraka Flocka Flame.
Baraka Flocka Flame, if you guys haven't seen that video.
Head of the state.
I'm the head of the mother.
Also, there's Baraka Flocka Flame, Hit 'Em Up, and Baraka Flocka Flame, I Run the Military. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We actually have 3 singles out there. Support them all. But yeah, that was, sketch comedy, that internet grind.
Yeah.
Everybody's on it now, and that was in the early stages. But I was following after what I saw Donald Glover do with Derek Comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
That's part of the grind. That's like that's the comedy, like mixtape grind almost. It's like short films or short ideas
content.
You don't have a studio or a network behind you, so you just have to create the project yourself, put it out there, promote it.
Right.
And hopefully it catches on like a Baraka Flocka or the Kobe videos or something.
It definitely has.
And then you move on from there.
He mentioned Kobe. James is actually also a 5-time NBA champion.
I'm funny or die.
Mama face. I gotta hit him with a mama face real quick for the camera. But
you gotta do the mamba sniff too. That's also the very important ingredient to the impression is the sniff.
I didn't know about the sniff.
Yeah, you gotta. It's an arrogant sniff. Like your mediocre talent is, I'm allergic to it, so I have to, it's weird. Why are you around me? I'm the greatest of all time.
Exactly.
Sniff.
So yeah, actor, producer, everything. He does everything. Before we jump into the next topic, I did want to just cheers you up.
Yeah, man.
With the Ace of Spades.
A toast.
This episode cheers us for one reason. It's for Nipsey Hussle. It's a tribute to Nipsey Hussle. You could always see Nipsey with some Ace of Spades in his hand. I know he was supporting Jigga, Jay-Z, and the whole team out there, because that's just the type of person he was.
Yep. Rock Nation, Emery, all those dudes.
Yep. So real quick transition into Hood Adjacent. Hood Adjacent was the first time that I heard the story about you actually meeting Nipsey. Mm-hmm. And what you told in the episode was that you met Nipsey beforehand and he kind of like welcomed you into the family, so to speak. Describe how you met Nipsey. Tell me the whole thing.
Well, what's funny is I had to fight for that moment to even be in my TV show, because the showrunner at the time, who wasn't the original showrunner when we had started the show, when we shot that piece, and this guy was a little bit more removed from the culture. He didn't really know who Nip was. Right. And I just really wanted, that was the most important part of that segment there, was for people to understand what Nip meant to me.
Exactly.
And this is when he's still on the rise, and he's
underground, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's always been big to me, but I mean, my story with Nip is just, I shot Baraka Flocka Flame off Arlington and Slauson, which is Rolling 60s. Mm-hmm. So that's literally his backyard, his kingdom slash just where the streets he ran. And so he heard about it. He knew about us because, I mean, we had made a viral video off Slauson, like in the hood, like in his hood. And my boy came into his shop when it was still Slauson Tees, and he met Nip, and Nip was just like a fan of ours, a fan of what we had done.
That's dope, man.
And literally, now that I know more about who he was outside of my relationship, I mean, me and my boy, we were just another example of him just lending a helping hand, being a positive influence, seeing people doing something, and bringing them in and offering his resources. I mean, that's literally what he did. He was like, look, I got this office/studio space in downtown.
Yeah, you said he invited you.
You guys can come down here, work out of this office space. He was expanding it a little bit. Man. He said, we had our own area in there, and we eventually left because we were so inspired that he had his own studio/office, that my boy was like, we need our own studio/office. Right. And so we left, and one of my biggest regrets is I wish we would have stayed around longer.
Oh, wow.
Just to soak up more game. But I mean,
for sure.
That was before, I'm working with Kevin Hart, or a lot of comedians, they want to get recruited by an OG, and like the first person who really recruited me or gave me a helping hand wasn't a big comedian. It was Nip.
Yeah.
It was Nip being like, I'm doing me, I'm grinding. I see you guys grinding. Let's grind together. Let's let our energies collide. And literally everything you hear is 100% true. He told me about numerous books, including like 22 Laws of Branding or whatever. Like there's certain books he was pushing for his homies to read and to educate themselves and better themselves. We were doing push-ups in his office, smoking weed also, but like doing push-ups. I was there while he was recording songs off the Marathon.
Wow.
And so to hear that and come out, and then to be that close to it, and then be impressed, because sometimes when you're so close to someone else's journey or their work process, when the final piece comes out, you're jaded because you heard,
because you've been there,
you were there, you were part of the process, and I was blown away. I was blown away like I had never met the man.
That's crazy, man.
And so from that point on, I mean, I just had an admiration, a respect, and literally I felt like we were on a parallel grind, sort of like I was just doing the comedy acting thing and he was doing the rapping thing.
Yeah.
And so his success was my success. And I felt like we were two dudes from Slauson who were both grinding, and the goal was that we'd both, meet at the top, like, and be those guys from Slauson and Crenshaw, the Crenshaw district, who really came up and blew up. And for a second, it was crazy. Like, he was grinding, and I wanted it so bad for him. There was these gaps where you wanted the album. Victory Lap was,
but it was like delayed or whatever.
It was delayed, and he would drop a mixtape. And I remember as a fan, I was almost like annoyed, because I was like, come on. I was like a fiend. I was like, come on, man. I want this music, like, because that's what I grinded to. That was like my fuel.
Wow. How often did you see him? Because you were sharing the office. Like, was it
so?
Like...
I mean, when we were in the office, I was seeing him like multiple times throughout the week. And then once we moved out and got our own office, I didn't see him as much. But then it was like we would always run into each other, whether it be like when he performed at the Hip Hop Awards with Dero. I was a writer for that Hip Hop
buddy,
Awards.
Rolling like a big shot.
So I mean, like I felt like I was his biggest fan in the room when he was performing.
That's crazy.
And also it was just like I would see him at rehearsal, or we'd be in Atlanta at Luda's manager's restaurant, or maybe it was Jeezy's dinner. I don't know who.
Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, and I would see Nip, and it was always like, what's up, man? Like, this is dope. We're running into each other on our grinds.
That's crazy.
I'm out here writing on the BT Hip Hop Awards. You're out here either performing or politicking and making these moves, and it was just dope to just see him always connect, get his number. And then when I got Hood Adjacent, even when I had my pilot, I had and it's also in the first episode, the Hood Pass piece. I wanted Nip to be the person giving me the Hood Pass. Yeah. But he wasn't available, and it worked out because Stevie J came in and killed it. So when I had my first season, I wanted Nip on an episode.
Right.
The only episode I could fit him into was the golf episode. But he's so cool, and it still embodied Nip, because it wasn't really about golf as much as it was about him helping a younger black man.
And you said you fought for it. To get that part in the episode?
I fought for Nip in general, just because everybody at the time didn't know
who he was.
Nip was, or why I was so just passionate about having Nip on my show. But that scene in particular, they wanted to cut out and just get to Nip, golf, fix his clothes, and like just get rid of the heart of the scene. And I was like, no, people need to understand who Nip is to me.
Because you were adding golf swag.
We're adding golf swag, and just the fact that Nip, a rolling 60s rapper, can be greater than all his other categories and still have a real conversation with a young golfer, and still display wisdom. He told him off top, that's a boss's sport. The man was just so wise that whatever situation he was in, he could offer something for you positively.
Motivated the kid too, man.
And just never capping, never on some just being a character. So
that's dope, man.
Yeah, that's my like real story with Nip. Just that moment of just early in my career when no one believed in me, and I was doing it on my own, doing my own grind. Maybe he probably recognized that in us,
right?
And he just brought us in, and he may not have been Kevin Hart, but he was Kevin Hart to Slauson. He was Kevin Hart to the Crenshaw district.
Yes, he was.
So to have Nip even in 2010, be like, yo, I'm fucking with y'all, fuck with me. Yeah. It meant a lot,
Man, I didn't know Nip, but I did get to meet him really briefly, and it was about 8 months ago. So it was right outside this restaurant and wine shop that I run down in Santa Monica. And I found out that Nip was doing some work with like the Viceroy Hotel, like on the beach in Santa Monica. So he had his arms, his reach, his fingerprints, like on everything. But about 8 months ago, I had just stepped outside, just get a breath of fresh air, because it was in there hustling and working. And I walk outside, and there's a restaurant next to us, and I walk a little bit, and I see Nip and Lauren walking towards me. And I don't bother people, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to like really like come up on him or whatever. But we were walking, he was walking, and he kind of crossed right in front of me. So as he's getting like this close to me, he locked eyes with me, And I just nodded, you know what I'm saying? And I saw him and he said, "What up?" He says either like, "What up?" or "What up, homie?" Maybe I'm imagining in my mind he said, "What up, homie?"
He probably gave you "What up, homie?" because you gave him the real nigga, like, I know who you are, bro. Respect.
And I wasn't about to like
and he probably respected
him.
the fact that that's all you did.
Yes. And
that you weren't like, oh, you were just like, I see you, bro.
And I remember the nod and kind of like the "what up" he gave me was like love. It was love, and
not like get away, but
no,
what up?
It was straight love, and he said "what up" or "what up, homie," and Lauren was walking by, and they kept walking right in front of me, and they were actually going across the street to go to their car. So when they were crossing the street, like people were in the streets, like, "Oh, Nip, what up?" and he just kind of said "what up" and got in the car and just boomed off. But it was interesting that moment was brought into my life as recent as just a few months ago. Very much a trip, man. Very much a trip.
No, I definitely feel like with Nip, it's a blessing if you had if you shared a moment with him or crossed paths with him. Even that,
Yeah.
If you can just share positivity, look somebody in their eye, acknowledge them when you see them. That everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't remember to do that.
Exactly.
Everybody doesn't see the value in everybody.
Especially when you reach a level that he had reached. It's just like
8 months ago, he's Grammy nominated. He's on his victory lap.
Yes, and I mean, and just like you say, to still be able to have a real conversation, to still be able to be a real person, means like everything. You know what I mean?
And I think it's like real recognize real, and he probably sensed the real in you. I mean, because think about it, everybody else was yelling at him, Nip. So you could have been that same person.
I was like, him and Lauren was walking. I was like, I'm not gonna bother them. I was like, I already know.
You
Like, they just trying
respect
to eat and go to their car. I was like, so I just did my thing and kept it moving.
But I feel the same way. I feel like I was blessed to to have my interaction with him just because I didn't bang.
Yeah.
And like I only was on Slauson really like that deep in Slauson because my boy had moved there from Slauson and Mansfield, closer to La Brea.
You were hood adjacent.
Because I'm hood adjacent. So I didn't bang. If I was, it's funny. If I was to bang, I would have been assigned to the 60s.
Yes.
You know what
by
I'm saying?
Default.
If I would have gone to public school, I probably would have gone to Crenshaw. Would have gone to Audubon.
Yep.
All that stuff. So it's like, but at the same time, I wasn't, and I was playing golf. And you know what I'm saying? I'm fresh out of college, so it's only I can only explain that God made that situation happen, and I've been so inspired since. I mean,
just so interesting that he respects the hustle. Like you said, he came in and he called golf a king sport,
a boss sport, a boss hobby.
Just to be able to, I'm sure he's never played golf, but just to be able to respect that says a lot about him. As we mentioned, you could always find Nip with a bottle of champagne. It was always Ace of Spades. Real quick, everybody knows Ace of Spades. What maybe a lot of people don't know is that's not the real name of it. The real name of Ace of Spades is Armand de Brignac. It's made by a family in France, Cattier, Cattier. I was lucky enough to meet Jean, I think his name is Jean-Jacques. Yep, Jean-Jacques, the dad, and then Alexander, the son. They're 12th and 13th generation winemakers in France, and they've been making champagne, winemaking in the region for 250 years. Really, really nice guys, really, really humble. I actually got invited to have the release of the Blanc de Blanc of this. There's like 5 different ones now. There's this gold, they got the rosé, the pink, the Blanc de Blanc is the silver. So I got invited to taste this, and I got to meet them. Super, super cool guys. Enter around like 2006 is when Jay-Z introduced Ace of Spades to the market. For anybody out there who remembers Kingdom Come, the first single off Kingdom Come was Show Me What You Got. And he had this video where he was in Monaco with like Danica Patrick racing these Ferraris and Lambos and everything. And there's this like infamous scene where he's at the poker table playing cards, and the waiter comes over and brings him Cristal. And at that time, the head of Cristal had made some kind of off-color comments that Jay wasn't feeling. So he boycotted the brand. I know Cristal is very apologetic about that to this day. But he boycotted the brand. So there's this famous scene in there where he's playing cards where the waiter comes over with the Cristal, and he's like, get that shit out of here. And then they walk over again and they bring like this shiny gold bottle. And at the time when they brought it over, Ace of Spades hadn't been released in the US. So it was this whole thing of like, how did he get his, what is it? How did he get it? And that kind of like started the legend of it. Then they had to come out a couple of days later and was like, we are the brand that was in Jay-Z's video. We're Ace of Spades and everything like that. So that's kind of how it was born. Of course, Jay-Z has a financial ownership in Ace of Spades. It's really about supporting the people that are like you, that come from where you come from, that support you, that look like you. And like I said, whenever I saw pictures with Nipsey holding a bottle of Ace, I was like, that's respect. I was like, I already know what that is about. That's respect. Ace of Spades also makes a 30-liter version. 30 liters is like probably like that big because of 15, 18 liters like that. 30-liter version of this is the largest format champagne that you can find in the world. Ace of Spades has it. Ace of Spades also broke a world record for the most expensive bottle of champagne ever bought. Somebody overseas bought some Ace, a 30-liter for like $150,000. So
what?
Ace of Spades is Armand de Brignac, but it is very, very influential in our culture. Thank you to Jay-Z. I'm an incredibly huge Jay-Z admirer.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
So takeaways. I was sharing with James before we got filming that my grandmother passed away a few years ago. And to this day, I still can't refer to her in past tense because to me, she's present. She's always there. I got her name tatted on me. She has inspired me and continues to inspire me every day. So, James, what do you think that Nip's impact is on our music culture, on our culture? What is his legacy in the present tense? I don't want to talk about, you know, what he was. For me, it's like what he is.
Exactly.
Because even unfortunate situation like what happened recently has for sure sent so many positive vibes out to everybody in our culture. What do you feel like his legacy is going to be? What is his mark?
Nip is the difference between rappers who were and rappers who are. Some rappers are of the moment and some rappers are prolific and make timeless art. And as rappers and artists, we have chosen a platform to share our thoughts, our views, our visions. And once you make yourself an artist, we all have that opportunity. So what do you do with that blank canvas? Whether it's a beat, stage, script, what have you, that's your blank canvas. What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rappers and artists and voices out there that aren't using their voice to their highest potential. And Nipsey used his voice and his storytelling to its highest
to the utmost
potential, where they live on forever. So Nipsey is an example. He is the example of the highest level you can take your art, because the songs are more than songs. They get people through their
message. Everything's a message.
Everything's a message, to the point where I would say Martin Luther King had a dream. Nipsey Hussle has a marathon.
Is he?
And there's a dream and then there's a blueprint.
Yes.
So I'm not saying Nipsey's above Martin in any way. I'm just saying that Nipsey, even through his whole body of living, has provided a blueprint of what to do with your voice.
Yep.
How to use your power.
Yep.
And it may not be everybody's blueprint, but it's a blueprint.
It's a blueprint for us.
It's a blueprint for us. It's a blueprint for me. It's for sure a blueprint for me.
It's a blueprint for me. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have a lot of Nip songs in my library as of a month ago. I had a few. I knew all about him, knew who he was, knew where he was from, knew who he was repping, but I didn't have a whole lot of songs. Unfortunately, I'm one of the, aftermarket people that had to come in later, and now I'm like, damn, I should have been listening to his fucking music 10 years ago. It's all motivation. That's why I like Jay-Z so much, is because he's a grown man. He's talking grown man shit. It's just like, it's not all, trap. It's next level. And Nip is the same thing.
He didn't compromise that brand for earlier success or anything. It's always been the same thing.
Always the same.
And so that's what as artists we have to do is like not compromise our voice, our vision for what may seem like the easier path to success. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
It's a fucking marathon.
And he left in that phrase, the marathon continues. There's so many people, whether you're dealing with cancer, you're jobless, you're trying to save your marriage, that slogan, that energy, that movement applies to you. And that's why there's so many people who are mourning his death and these fans, and there's gonna be new fans, because even me, I'm somebody who had tons of Nipsey Hussle music in his library, but I would be lying if I told you I listened to all of it. So I'm even discovering new stuff, and I'm just like, this dude is officially like my favorite. He was already my favorite, but it's like now it's like there's this hands down.
Man, he's jumped to the top of my playlist. Like I said, a lot of my boys kind of like be like talking shit, because a lot of them are on some more of the new music, and I'm like, I fuck with Jay, man. I was like, every album he drops is pure motivation for me. It's pure motivation for my life. And I listen to Victory Lap. I started from the back. I started with Victory Lap. I hit the Mailbox
Victory Lap
Money.
is such an incredible album.
It's insane. And I go through and I'm saving songs, and I'm like, there's rarely an album where I save like every song. I'm going through saving every damn song.
Victory Lap, you let ride. And as a fan who's been a fan since day one, day two, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're almost nervous, like, please let this be. Just like,
right, don't let me down.
Or not even let me down, like, just like, don't let you down, because I know how dope you are, and it's like,
yeah.
And it's like he leveled up so crazy, and I remember just being like proud and happy and just like impressed, like, man, every song is amazing. Like, the fact that I feel like there's a lot of Nipsey fans right now that are almost, and I had to get over this, like, kind of mad that so many people are now getting on to Nipsey.
Yep.
You're almost like selfish. Like, man,
you have to now.
I've been on this. Like, I've been listening to Dedication. You just discovered Dedication?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember the first time I heard Victory Lap, man, and just, for me, it's like certain things that people say in songs that I'll be like, save that shit. And I'll be just listening. You just be listening. You hear some shit, you be like, oh. And in Victory Lap, the intro was, he said something about going to Mexico, and then he said, and dock that Tulum just to smoke. I was like, give me that. I'm saving that. So like, it's just inspiring, man. It's just inspiring, and it's great music. Oh, I lost my microphone at the top. But it's inspiring, and it's great music, man. And it's just always inspirational. And then another thing that really told me how big he got was at the memorial. Obama, man, wrote him a letter.
I was at that memorial, and I've never cried so much in front of strangers in my life. It was very uncomfortable.
It's just like,
but it was great.
That tells you where he got to, man. You got Obama. For me, Obama can do no wrong.
Nope.
Forget political, and you know how you feel about politics and everything.
Nah.
You respect him. He's a better person than me on any given day. And when I saw that letter, I was like, this tells you where his reach got. You know what I mean? And that's monumental, man. That's so monumental. How do you like the champagne? I'm sure you had Ace a million times.
Man, I think I have, but when I've had it in the situations I have had it, I've just been wilding out. I've been in the club, so I couldn't tell you if this tastes as crispy as it did during bottle service at Live on Sunday. But
I gotta ask you, so I was watching the comedy special. Again, if you guys haven't seen Live from the Town, man, stop what you're doing. Just take an hour, which I don't even understand how you stand up there for an hour and remember all that shit. But, I don't want to know. But take a second, go get the Comedy Central app, man, go watch that. It's fucking hilarious. But what I wanted to ask you is some of the names that you were dropping in the special. Marquise, Contrail. Are these your boys?
I just love funny names.
Contrail.
You know what's funny? In my special, I had to cut it out. I when Barack is DJing, there's a moment where I'm just shouting out songs like, "What y'all want to hear?" And I definitely on stage was like, "What y'all want? Some Nipsey?"
Yeah.
And it was just like I had just been going having too much fun. I needed to cut off the joke and move on.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that out, and now I'm mad. But I definitely, like, even in my special, I was shouting out Nipsey, like, straight up. Like,
so let me cheers you. And what would Barack say about this champagne? Does Barack like this champagne? Is this something that he would fuck with?
Let me think.
I mean, when I sip this, I feel majestic.
Now listen, this beverage is something that me, my wife Michelle, not our daughters, just me and Michelle, we would definitely take part in while on her book tour. On the book tour, we like to celebrate after every city, and when we do, we pop a bottle. And I'm thinking it's time for change. I don't think we've been drinking this, but I think that we're gonna have to incorporate this into our alcoholic strategy.
Alcoholic strategy. Cheers. Enough. A rap battle between Baraka Flocka Flame and Chocolate Dropper.
It depends on who's surrounding us, who's in the circle. You know, if it's more comedy fans, Kev might get me just because he's really, really funny. Chocolate Dropper is a very funny rapper.
He is.
Now, if it's hip hop heads and they want to hear bars, and it's really a battle rap competition, Flocka Flames, man, Baraka Flocka.
I think that you should make that happen. We need that.
Well, you know, Baraka Flocka, he's not in office right now, so he's been doing a lot of other things. But I'll talk to his people. I know he definitely has been motivated to get back in the studio due to recent events. So
Hey,
you know, we'll see what happens.
We need that. We need that.
We need a Baraka Flocka grinding on my life. You know,
Ooh.
something like that.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing out ideas.
Ooh.
Don't nobody take it.
Don't take that shit.
That's just the drink talking.
That's just the Armand the Brignac talking.
Armand the Brignac.
What's your favorite Nipsey song? Now this okay.
Yeah.
No. For you, favorite 2 Nipsey songs. Okay.
Okay. Man, favorite 2 Nipsey songs. That's tough, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Rose Clique.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. It's like
You school me.
Rose, Rose Clique or something like that. Like it if it's not that, it's something very close to that.
Right.
It sounds like this. So when you look it up, and then
What album is that on?
it's on.
Slossin' Boy.
Nah, it's on
It's
like
something old, like a mixtape.
it's on a mixtape.
Okay, I
It's on a
have yet
mixtape.
to discover. I have yet to discover, but
It
I
might
will.
be on. It might be on Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 2. I don't know. It's out there. It's on the platforms.
I'm gonna go get it.
And then it's a tie between the second one. Actually, it's too many good ones, man. But
Yeah.
oh man, because like there's a song I just really discovered that I hadn't really listened to. It's Status Symbol 2.
Yes.
I really, really, really love that song.
I saw that on your gram, and I was like, I haven't heard that. Let me go check that out, and I saved that. I love that shit.
Man, that's. But then dedication is. I can't answer 2 because dedication is incredible. Dedication's like I can listen to that nonstop. I can listen to Double Up nonstop. And Love.
Okay.
The first song off Marathon.
Okay.
Fake Don't Show Me Love. That's
Okay.
Love. The first song off Marathon.
My favorite song, and I might go like I might even say favorite song right now. It might change, but then it might not. Is Hustle and Motivate.
I love that song.
So when I heard
that easily could have been in my.
When it dropped, when the beat came in, I was like, he gonna just do this Jay-Z Hard Knock Life beat. I was like, oh shit, and I heard it coming in, it was a lot slower. And I was just like, oh no, and then he just came in, and the beat's hard, but the beat's light enough to hear his voice just right over the beat. And I was just like, I'm just being in the
I
car.
love that thing where it's like,
Yeah, that raw.
That's
Because I don't like to play songs out. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to this for like a week. I can't hear it for a week. I'm gonna come back in a week. I'm gonna lose my shit. I listen to that shit every day. I can't help it. I literally cannot help it.
I was listening to Victory Lap so much. I had to like put it down
Yeah,
on the
you
bottom
gotta
of the playlist
stop.
for a second because
This shit's too fire. I gotta stop.
I
Put it down.
was burning. I was running. It was all of it. But now, you know, I can listen to it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hustle and Motivate.
This has been Wine and Hip Hop. Los
Yep.
Angeles, episode 4.
Yes, sir.
I got actor, comedian, NBA champion,
Yep.
rapper,
Yep.
producer,
Yep.
everything guy.
Yep.
James here. I appreciate you being here, man. And we gonna rap, man. I mean, it's a nice day. I probably sit up here just drink this Ace for the rest of the little time.
Yeah, man.
you
I
know?
gotta run. I can't drink too much more because I'm trying to keep it legal.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna have some Armand Armand
That.
the brand.
That. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna do that.
Yep.
It's a pleasure.
Hey, I didn't leave you hanging this
You
time.
didn't leave me hanging. We signing off. Thank you, lovely people.
Appreciate you.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things.